Hello, and thank you for joining the Washtenaw County Road Commission's virtual construction information meeting about the roundabout project planned at the intersection of Scio Church Road and Zeeb Road in Lodi and Scio Townships. I'll be the meeting host today along with our project managers. My name is Tiffany Oliphant. I'm the communications manager here. One second as I let people in the room. This morning, I'll go over the meeting This morning, I'll go over meeting instructions before turning it over to staff for a presentation about the project, and then we'll open the meeting up for your question and answers. Presenting with me today is Nico Robson, Project Manager for Design and Construction, and Aaron Burkholtz, Assistant Director of Engineering. There's Aaron. He turned his camera on. One second as I some more folks in the room. And now I'll turn it over to Nico.
Thanks, Tiffany. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We're pretty excited about this project. It's been a couple years in the making. So, where is this project located? We're right on the border of Scio Township and Lodi Township. The area is fairly suburban. At the southeast corner of this intersection, we have the Emerson School. Scio Church Road is a route taken by motorists heading in and out of the southwest section of Ann Arbor. And then Zeeb Road is a pretty significant truck route for things like gravel haulers and other heavier traffic. Currently, we have a four-way stop here that's controlled by a rectangular rapid flashing beacon. The picture you're seeing there was taken just a couple of weeks ago during DTE's installation of their new utility poles. So why did we plan on a roundabout here? Well, we've been monitoring this intersection since 2019. Um, Through some internal discussions as well as discussions with MDOT, we determined that we really needed some kind of improvement just for congestion and safety purposes. And the best fix we could come up with was to install a roundabout here. And if anybody's familiar with this area, at rush hour, the intersection backs up hundreds of feet at times, especially when there are issues on I-94. So we knew there was something that needed to be done. So this is an overall view of what we plan to do. If anybody's familiar with the intersection at Liberty and Zeeb, where we also have a roundabout just to the north of here, this is going to be very similar. It's a single lane roundabout with lanes that are designed to slow down entering traffic. We're also including some stormwater drainage improvements and some street lighting improvements as well. Hopefully everybody knows how a roundabout works, but just in case somebody's unaware, um, the entering traffic into the circle yield, and we're going to move in a counterclockwise rotation. And the purpose of the island is, again, to slow motorists down. You can see in this picture, it's an asphalt roundabout. Our roundabout here is actually going to be paved with concrete. So where do we get the funding for something like this? We received the funding from the federal government by applying for a carbon reduction grant. The rest is paid for through our MTF fund, our Michigan Transportation Funds. Where does that money come from? It comes from our license and registration fees and then the fuel tax in Michigan as well. Um, Now, this project hasn't gone to MDOT's bid letting just yet. It goes next month, but we estimate that this will cost just under $2 million for total construction. Final bid costs we'll know uh, towards the middle of next month. So we created a checklist just to show everybody how this is going to occur. To build this roundabout, the first thing we need to do is relocate our utilities. And if anybody's been through this intersection recently, you'll see that DTE is out there, like in that picture. AT&T is out there, and then the rest of our utilities are following soon after. Um, After we close down this intersection, we'll start installing our drainage and our storm sewer. We're going to create our curb and islands, place concrete in those areas. Once that's cured to a point where we can work on it, we're going to start placing our concrete pavement. And once that's cured, we'll put up our signage, pavement markings, the lighting, of course, and then any other odds and ends that we need to clean up. So like I mentioned, we haven't brought this, or MDOT hasn't brought this to bidding just yet. That'll happen in the beginning of next month. Once a contractor is chosen by MDOT, we'll plan to meet with them sometime in May, and construction is set to begin in the middle of June, actually, after Emerson School gets out for the summer. And we're planning on starting June 15th, which is that first Monday after school's out. This project's supposed to take approximately 10 weeks, but again, that's weather pending. So on the screen here, you can see what it's going to look like when we start tearing up the pavement and clearing and grading and everything. Um, this is when most of our stormwater drainage system will actually be installed. After that's done, we'll start placing our gravel. You can see our 21 AA, which is the standard for our gravel here in Michigan, being placed for the base below the concrete. After that, we'll start to form up for our curbs. During this time, we'll actually be placing the final portions of our drainage structures. So the forms will be placed. We'll pour concrete in those forms, let those cure, as I said before. We'll start to install our splitter island and the rest of the curb on the inside as well. The red section of that is to make the island more visible to motorists instead of just white or a darker color. And then installing the central island, this again will be concrete. Um, we wanted to make sure that there's no landscaping here as to ensure we maintain sight distances for everyone. Um, yeah, we wanted to make sure that we also didn't have any long-term maintenance here with any kind of landscaping. And then once we're done paving the concrete roadways, we'll place our signage. We'll start spraying everything for our pavement markings. And then the next step would be adding our street lighting. So when it's all said and done, this is what it should look like. This is Liberty and Zeeb Road. As you can see, there's truck traffic through here. As I mentioned earlier, Zeeb Road's pretty notorious for having heavy traffic, heavier equipment traffic. Um, and so we have to deal with things like gravel haulers and et cetera, and make sure that our roundabout can design that kind of a load. So when we do start work on this project, you're going to see a lot of road closed signs, road closed ahead, closed to through traffic. Um, Please make sure you pay attention to these warnings. Road closed signs don't mean they're closed for everybody but you. It means they're closed for everyone. Please respect this closure and find an alternate route if necessary. We'll talk about the official detour later. We have this road closed for not only our safety, but also your safety. Entering a construction zone is not a good place for somebody who's unfamiliar with them. So here's our official detour. In the center of that image, you can see a red dot. That's our intersection. Um, we expect that some unpaved roads in this area, especially in Scio Township, will see some additional traffic. We're making sure that we work with the Washtenaw County Road Commission's operations department to ensure this area is well maintained. Um, if you are a lighter vehicle, so not a semi truck or gravel hauler, there are a few unpaved sections of roads that you're able to take, such as Liberty Road, Waters, Ellsworth Road, Parker Road. It's not necessarily unpaved, but it's close to heavy truck traffic. You're definitely able to take these routes. But if you are a gravel hauler or heavier equipment, you're going to have to follow these sections in blue and purple. So you're going to be taking roads like Pleasant Lake Road, Wagner Road, and Jackson Road to get anywhere that you need to be. And that's all I have. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions outside of this meeting. I'd be happy to answer. I know I've answered quite a few questions so far prior to our meeting here. And yeah, like I said, we're very excited to get started finally after a couple of years of planning.
Yeah, thank you, Nico. And again, appreciate you and Tiffany putting the work in to offer this public meeting, and appreciate everyone attending today. Again, I'm Aaron Burkholz. I'm the Assistant Director of Engineering here at the Road Commission. And just a couple of things I'll highlight, things that Nico brought up before, but I want to make sure that I stress them. First of all, when we perform this work, as he said, we will be closing the intersection. And it's of great importance that motorists adhere to that closure. Again, we do have a couple of driveways that are very near the intersection. We will maintain access within the construction zone for those properties. So again, for the residents there or for deliveries, they'll be able to get in and out, but other motorists should not come into the construction zone. Adherence to that, it promotes the safety of the construction crew and the motorists themselves. So it's really important that people are mindful of the closure that's going to go up. Um, when that closure goes up, again, something that Nico brought up is uh, traffic is going to find other routes that they feel better suit their needs. And that includes unpaved roads. Those unpaved roads are public roads, they're county roads. And so, by all rights, as long as motorists are operating their vehicles appropriately and within the law, they can use those routes. Nico will be coordinating with our operations department, and additional scraping and like applications of dust control. Those can happen depending on where it's needed. So again, it will be something that Nico will be monitoring, our operations department will be monitoring. But again, we don't have the means of simply telling people don't drive down that unpaved road because it's a public road and by rights they can drive down there. We're going to have the detour routes. So those that are attending today, most are probably familiar with the aggregate pit owned by Stone Cove that's located south of this intersection. And again, those trucks are going to be directed to the south. So they're going to come out, they're going to go south on Zeeb Road down to Pleasant Lake Road, and then they're going to go east over to Wagner Road. And again, being thoughtful, providing a route for those gravel haulers. So that's all I wanted to offer in addition. Again, I appreciate Nico, you and Tiffany working on this presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Burke. Now I'm going to go into our website so you can find out where to find this project if you have not signed up also for our emails updates. Right now you go on wcroads.org. You can actually go to the roadwork and construction site, current projects. So you'll scroll down This is an interactive map, just to be mindful of that. You can click on any of these sections and then you'll see it's there you go. So you'll see different projects and you can click on the more info. It will take you to a project page. But I'm going to also want to show you can scroll down the page and you'll see this page, which is the Scio Church Road and Zeeb Road Roundabout. Click on the card and then you'll find the project page. It gives you information about everything going on. Nico's information here is his contact information, the construction virtual public meeting that we posted there. We also will post helpful links, roundabout page, driving in a roundabout. It's kind of a fun video there. The detour is posted. I've already posted the presentation slides. You can find that there. And then once this video is complete, I will post that here under the helpful links within a day or so. So that is how you find the information about this project. We post everything here. The project announcement was there also. I also want to show, I also want to show you to subscribe here to project updates. You put your email address in, your name and your zip code, and you can click on multiple townships, an advisory or weekly roadwork schedule, and then you can click on the projects that you are interested in. Again, you can click on multiple projects at a time and make sure you hit subscribe, and that's how we'll know you're subscribed and you'll get the emails and updates as we send them out. Also, I also want to make and inform you about our weekly roadwork schedule. If you don't know, we post this every Thursday and update this with project information, the contact, the dates that it will be happening. If there's a detour, is it going to be lane restrictions, the township? So you can find a lot of information here. And as the construction season goes, this page gets really, really long, but this is a great source of information here. Also, you have township pages. So if you want to know what's going on in your township, you can also find that out and click on your township, and that will show you various projects happening in your township. And so now I will go out of the presentation. I will go back into the presentation and we'll open this up for Q&A. One moment. I'll begin that process in one moment. Oh, I have someone that let someone in. I see I have Carolyn Altamir. I have a question there. If you would like to ask a question, you would, there's the, at the bottom of the screen, it'll say raise your hand button. You can actually raise your hand that way. I will call on you with your name or your digits of your, the last four digits of your phone number. So we'll go with that in 1 second. Go ahead, Caroline.
Thank you, everybody, for this. Could you go back to the slide that showed the bird's eye view of the project? That
Is
one,
this one?
yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, that one. I have a question. The northbound Zeeb, how it kind of curves, like goes out and then curves to the, I mean, I'm just curious, what is the purpose of that?
Yeah, that's
Other
a
than
great
the state
question.
access?
Yeah, it's to try to slow down traffic, especially on Zeeb Road. Like we were saying, there's a lot of heavier traffic that takes Zeeb north and south. And there's also a hill to the south of this project. So coming down that hill, we wanted to make sure that any motorists know to slow down, and part of that is to stop going straight ahead. So like I said before, very similar to the one we have just to the north of here at Liberty and Zeeb.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Okay, Nico, I have a question from Bob. He wants us to share an image of what the roundabout will look like when completed, considering the house that is located on the northeast corner of the intersection is very close to the road.
Yeah, we don't have necessarily a projected image just yet, but as I showed before, there's a picture of what our roundabout looks like at Liberty and Zeeb. It's going to be very similar. I don't know if Tiffany, you wanted to scroll to that slide just to give us an idea of what that looks like.
1 second, let me get to it. There we go. I had to get to it. Yes, that's what it looks like.
Yep.
I also have another question. When will the project be completed? From Min Sue.
So the project, again, is supposed to take about 10 weeks from start. We're starting on June 15th, so we expect to be done in the middle of August sometime. Again, weather can speed this process up, or it might delay it slightly, but we have a very tight schedule we're trying to make in order to ensure that the school year starts for Emerson on time and they don't have any issues.
I actually have another question. Why is lighting required? It is not good for houses nearby. That's from Michael.
That's a good question. Do you have an answer, Aaron?
Yeah, I can jump in on that one, Nico. And again, that's been something that we have looked at closely. Over the years, we've built several roundabouts, and I'll say in more recent times, the concern regarding ambient lighting and undesirable lighting has come up. We work with DTE Community Lighting. DTE actually performs the design of the lighting, and we do. This is dark sky lighting that's installed. And so it's done in a thoughtful manner so that we don't project light where it's not desired. But it is very important that we put the lights up because, again, that promotes the safety of the motorist. You can look at the intersection up at Liberty and Zeeb. And you can look at the intersection, the next one to the north, up at Zeeb and Miller, and see how there's been thought put into employing that dark sky type lighting and being thoughtful about where it's being projected.
Okay, my next question I have from Erica. Will EMS have access through the intersection in an emergency? Going around takes quite a bit of time.
Unfortunately, they will not have access unless they need to access somebody in the enclosure. They will have to follow the detour as everyone else does.
Okay. I have another question from Adrian. She says she can't get her microphone to work, so she wants to ask it. So she says, will there be additional traffic control at Zeeb and Pleasant Lake with the increased truck traffic?
Yeah, and I'll jump in on that one, Nico. So again, the truck route for the gravel haulers coming out of the Stone Co pit to the south of the intersection, they'll be proceeding south down to Pleasant Lake Road, and then making that left-hand turn and continuing to the east on Pleasant Lake. I believe what she's referencing is those trucks making that turn off of southbound Zeeb to eastbound Pleasant Lake. The road commission has worked with the property owner in the northeast corner at that intersection to perform some additional forestry work, to clear that corner back a little bit more to provide better sight distance. And we also do have a flashing beacon there. So it does draw attention to that intersection. So there is sufficient traffic control in place and sufficient sight lines that we are confident that will be a good route for the trucks to take.
So I do have, 1 second. I do have someone wanting to ask a question.
Real quick, Tiffany, about the question about EMS earlier, I didn't mention that we've already contacted the Huron Valley EMS and the fire departments, and they know about this project, so they'll plan accordingly in case anything happens.
Okay, great. Canada Fletcher, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Go ahead. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong.
Hi, my name is Canda Fletcher. I live at 1331 South Zeeb, and I guess I kind of have a two-part question. The roundabout at Liberty and Zeeb has not slowed traffic down. There are times of the day where it can take more than 10 minutes to get out of our driveway. So I'm wondering how the roundabout now at Zeeb and Scio Church Road is going to help with the speed of the traffic going by, because people go by going very, very fast. And it can be, especially if there's snow on the ground, it can be extraordinarily difficult to get out of our driveway safely because we have to go up from when the road was repaved and you can't always get traction. My second question is, as you can probably see from my avatar, I have a horse, and riding along Zeeb Road is not what it used to be 50 years ago, as in you take your life in your own hands. I had asked the township, who said they had to work with the road commission about getting signs placed between Liberty and South Church Road showing a horse and a rider. And I was told that the road commission would not pay for those signs. There are no ditches to ride in, and I am hesitant to ride in either of the farmers' fields on either the east or west side of Zeeb heading south. I know both of them because I don't want to destroy their crops. Is there going to be any way to get signage put up? And believe me, I wear high vis, I wear flashing lights on my horse, and I have people going by at 60 plus miles an hour that never slow down and are within just a couple of feet of me. It is terrifying, but I'm really limited where I can ride my horse. So those are my two questions. Any way to help with and it's car after car after car after car trying to get out of our driveway, and then with safety. And there's a man, I can see his property on the image that's up, that rides his bike everywhere. He doesn't own a car. I don't know how that man has not been run over on Zeeb Road. So those are my two questions.
Yeah, Kanda, and we appreciate you attending and asking the questions. In regards to, you mentioned that you're at 1331 South Zeeb. So again, you're closer to the intersection there at Zeeb and Liberty. But you're far enough away from that intersection that you're not within the influence of the roundabout. The traffic is slowed by the roundabout in proximity to the roundabout. I don't dispute that you probably do see vehicles traveling past your place at a higher rate of speed, but the road commission is not an enforcement agency. If you see vehicles that are driving at a high rate of speed, you really need to reach out to law enforcement. Again, it's just you're too far away from the roundabout at Liberty and Zeeb for that to influence the traffic in front of your house. The other thing is, I know you do see a lot of traffic. There's a high volume on Zeeb Road. It's a busy road.
Yes, it
The,
is.
the, the roundabout doesn't reduce the volume. Again,
Correct.
it keeps the traffic flowing through the intersection so the traffic doesn't back up as much, but it doesn't impact the volume. And really, nothing is going to impact the volume of traffic on Zeeb Road. It's a busy road. It's kind of in this suburban area in Scio Township. And so really there's not much that can be done about traffic volume. If it's a speed issue, that's an enforcement issue that would go to the Washtenaw County Sheriff. And as far as your request for the signs to be up regarding you riding a horse along Zeeb Road, if you could follow up with Nico, we'll show his contact information again, and please send him an email, and that way we can respond directly to you on that question, since it doesn't relate directly to the roundabout discussion.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
I have a question in the chat. If for whatever reason you're having an issue trying to raise your hand, you can always message me in the chat and I can ask your question. Bob asked, perhaps add a temporary stop-go light at Pleasant Lake and Zeeb, similar to the light used at Liberty and I-94 bridge construction last year. Any thoughts?
I don't know, Aaron, if you wanted to take this or if Brent wanted to jump in.
Yeah, Tiffany, can you restate that question again for me?
Yes. Perhaps add a temporary stop-go light at Pleasant Lake and Zeeb, similar to the light used on the Liberty at I-94 bridge construction last year. Any thoughts?
Sure. Yeah, in Liberty at I-94, that temporary traffic light was set up because they were only maintaining one direction of traffic across the bridge, so that allowed them to use one lane. Really, we would not be using temporary signals at a fully open intersection, if you will. Really, those temporary signals are intended for construction zones. They're not intended for detour routes. So again, we have no intention of putting up temporary signals at Zeeb and Pleasant Lake. Again, as I stated before, we have worked with the property owner in that northeast corner. We very much appreciate their willingness to work with us to improve some sight lines. And really, it's up to each motorist to drive their vehicle in a safe manner at that intersection.
Aaron, and I will add, this is Brent Schlack, Director of Engineering. We are monitoring that intersection. So if there is further improvement that needs to happen as far as meeting any type of traffic signal warrants, then we will look for funding to potentially install that. And certainly during construction, we'll be monitoring that intersection. If there's any safety improvements that we can make that are within the means of this project or our budget, we'll certainly do that.
Okay. I'm going to ask David to unmute. Go ahead, David.
Yes, I live on Waters Road, just off of Zeeb, just east of Zeeb. And on your mentioning enforcement, I'm glad to see all the stuff you provided on the detours and whatnot. Just wanted to know, in your experience with projects like this, where the Stoneco pit is such a direct shot to 94 going up there, and the detour is seems extensively long for a lot of these trucks compared to their usual route. Do you have any expectations as to compliance? Is this something that those kind of trucks and gravel haulers are typically in compliance with, or will there be some kind of a need for enforcement? Just trying to get an idea how much to expect the inappropriate loads coming down Waters may or may not be.
Yeah, and no, it's a good question, David. And what I found is, again, we will be communicating directly with the pit to make sure that they're reminding the drivers to follow the detour route. Can you get a rogue driver? I suppose it's possible, but for the most part, my experience has been is once the pit is telling those drivers you have to follow the detour, they do comply with that. So if there is a need for enforcement, certainly that's something you could reach out to Nico and let him know about, because we do have two waymasters here at the Road Commission. So if that's something that you see during the course of the project, David, and I'd ask if it's multiple trucks. You may see a truck now and then, either a trucker that's unfamiliar or he's just a cowboy, if you will, and he wants to go his own way. But for the most part, they should be complying with the posted detour.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually have another comment from Bob. He says, thanks for the explanation granted. The intersection is far from the actual construction. However, with the increased traffic volume and gravel haulers through the intersection, the gravel haulers will have a challenging time to turn east on Pleasant Lake during high traffic times. He wanted to add that comment.
And this is regarding the Pleasant Lake at Zeeb, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, like we mentioned before, we're definitely going to continue monitoring this. We expect obviously higher traffic volumes at that intersection than we're typically used to. So if we have anything, if we notice anything going on, then we'll definitely work to temporarily improve that intersection if needed.
Okay, thank you. Nico, can you just do one more and just say your next steps? Just tell them your next steps really fast so that for some people who have come in a little late here.
Next steps for the project?
Yes.
Yeah, so right now we have utilities being relocated. Once we close this intersection in the middle of June, we'll start ripping everything up and we'll go from there.
Okay, good. Oh, David. David has another question. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Go ahead, David.
With the additional traffic, especially from the gravel haulers on Zeeb Road, that'll put some additional wear on the section of Zeeb Road from Stone Cove down to Pleasant Lake. Is there any plan to dress that road up or do any repairs after the construction is done?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that we're working closely with our operations department, and we're going to ensure that if we see any wear and tear that's out of ordinary, we'll definitely address it as it comes up.
Yeah, and I'll say, in addition, that paved segment of Zeeb Road going south, that's been constructed just within the last few years. That was a two-phase project to pave Zeeb all the way down to Pleasant Lake. That was constructed as a robust road section, if you will. So I have confidence that for a 10-week period, that road is going to be fine carrying the truckloads. We're not talking about uh, an aggressive time period. It's not 6 months or a year. We're talking about 10 weeks. So it should hold up. But as Nico said, we'll certainly be monitoring the road condition.
Okay. I don't have anyone else as far as questions are concerned. I just wanted to, okay. Just wanted to make sure when I look on my other screen. Well, here's Nico's information. You can email him or call him there on the screen. You can also go to our website to receive project updates. And we want to say thank you. Thank you for attending our meeting and have a wonderful day. Oh,
I'm
wait,
sorry, I
one more
received
person.
one more
Okay.
question
We have one.
sent to
Okay.
me privately.
Okay.
This is from Julie. In short, she's asking, is the circle in the middle of the roundabout supposed to prevent drivers from going over it, because she sees tire tracks over the center of the roundabout? So part of the design of a roundabout is to allow a vehicle that requires a wider turn to be able to do so safely. Now, hopefully those tire tracks aren't from a speeding motorist or anything like that, just going straight through. That's what we're looking to prevent. But yeah, they're designed for vehicles to slightly traverse.
Yeah, Nico, I'll add that at any intersection, be it a more traditional signalized intersection or a roundabout, to an extent, we are all relying on motorists to operate their vehicles in a safe manner. Again, we try to address possible safety concerns, but the roundabout is raised in the center. It's raised in a manner where, as Nico said, you're still allowing larger vehicles to be able to make that turn and have that turning radius that they need. So you'll see where trucks and agricultural equipment will ride up onto the center island to be able to make a turn. But there are signs in the middle of the roundabout as well. I know exactly what that reference is to, that those burnout marks in the middle of Zeeb and Liberty. I really have never been able to figure out how that motorist did that. But again, there is a lot of thought that goes into the design of the roundabout. We mentioned earlier about the splitter islands and the alignment in the approach to the roundabout, and how that alignment is set up to slow traffic. So again, just a little bit more on the center island.
I actually have two questions before we get out of here. Mariah, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm the Director of Finance at Emerson. I was on the prior video call that we had for this project, and it's a similar question that I had then. We've been really hoping for some better signage, kind of going along the same comment that was related to the horse riding, related to it being a school, better markings on the ground and better signage on the side of the road as well. Is there any possibility in that being included as a part of this project? Because I understand the whole goal is to slow the drivers down, and obviously that's something that we're happy about at Emerson for, but still the signage would be something we're very interested in.
Yeah, and Mariah, if you would, please reach out to Nico, send him an email. That's something that I'd like to have our traffic and safety section take a look at.
Okay.
we'll definitely pass that along to our senior project manager. Her name is Michelle Ford. And so I will ask Michelle and her staff to take a closer look there in front of the school, and to be sure to follow up with you to discuss things like pavement markings and signage that are related to schools.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that, Nico. I will follow up with you.
Sounds good.
Okay, I have one more question. Ms. Flesher, go ahead.
Hi, I'm sorry. I have one more question. If this was addressed at the beginning of the meeting, my mother watched that part and then I tuned in because she had to go. Is there going to be signage to ask people to use turn signals in the roundabout? Because it's really helpful when people know how to use that at roundabouts. So that's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you again for the questions. Unfortunately, no is the answer. Like Aaron said earlier, we we anticipate motorists to follow the law, and we can't really control them from not turning on their turn signal as necessary. That would be under the enforcement of the Washtenaw County Sheriff in this case. So, no, we don't have plans to add any signage to tell people to use their turn signals.
Yeah, and Nico, I'll also add that we do follow with pavement markings and signs. We follow the Michigan Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. So that's a mouthful. It's known as the MMUTCD. So that document dictates what we use as a road agency when we're putting up signs, when we're putting down pavement markings. That sign is not a standard sign. And so we do not intend to put up signs that indicate that drivers have to use their turn signals. Again, it would be up to the driver to employ their signals to effectively communicate to those waiting to enter the roundabout which direction they tend to go in. But really, that's been a mixed response on the use of signals in a roundabout, because that also can provide some confusing situations for drivers that are watching that vehicle make a turn. So, but the short answer is no, we won't be putting those signs up at this roundabout.
Okay, thank you, Burke and Nico, or Aaron and Nico. We will now conclude this virtual public meeting. We want to thank you again for attending and have a wonderful day.